Yours takes the lead from Goody Two Shoes, Middle Earth, River of Stars. Half Yours is coming clear for Jamie Carr for the Cups double. Half Yours, the history maker, won the Lexus Melbourne Cup by 3 lengths.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. We're battle-worn, weary, but we're soldering on. Walt?
I just realised it's Thursday. I realised it's a normal show. I'm thinking, what's this for? I'm just like, what?
Where am I?
Is it the Oaks Day one? Oh, it is Oaks Day. Yeah.
It's Oaks Day today, but we're going to preview Champion Stakes Day for Saturday. Nico, you're up and about.
Yeah, barely. Just trying to survive here onto Oaks Day today. And then I think today's going to be like 25 degrees and then Saturday's going to be about 12. So, might make the most of today, I think, because Saturday's going to be pretty grim out there at Flemington by the looks of things.
Yeah, wow. 14 to 11 with up to 20 mil. That is crazy, but it is Melbourne. Big thanks to Ladbrokes and Punting Form, sponsors of the show. Nico, you would have been horned up at the 400. Middle Earth just comes charging to the middle after backing it to win 20,000 at the call of the card.
Yeah, I gave him a big cheer, and then about 2 strides later, I knew my fate. When Half Yours got up the fence, I sort of half chopped out on Half Yours, which was not a too bad a result in the end. Wasn't a complete strip out, but I think the best horse just won. That's what we saw there on Tuesday. There was a few unlucky runners back in the field, and Land Legend taking off made an intriguing race to watch. Not that we could see much of it due to the camera angles there. What an absolute joke that was. But anyway, hopefully we can get a better cut next year. But yeah, I thought the way the race worked out, Half Yours taking those gaps, he probably just really did show he was the best horse there on Tuesday.
Drama Deal did his best. Your horse, Valiant King, and then mine, the Frog, who was off the map. Just the Frog got a Vauban Valiant King sandwich. He was like a Vovo there, the poor old Frog, and all 3 horses were pretty much out of play. But Vauban's gone pretty good because he copped a fair run of it too, and he's still run a massive race.
I did get a message from one of the training crew, from the McAvoy crew, telling you guys to go easy on the mushroom powder.
Hand in our licence.
Not quite. No, he's happy because he just won the Melbourne Cup. But he's like, well, watch the preview. Better tell those boys to stay off the powder for this week.
Let's have a look at the Cup Day tips. Well done, J-Dubs. You hated the race, but still found Half Yours. Nico, you kicked up for Middle Earth, as I just said. We sort of gave Goody Two Shoes a slow off the protocol, and then a few of us found River of Stars for 4th. So hopefully someone out there's got the first 4, and Triff and has found J-Dubs on top. Petticoat was a good one for you. Walt, Lonro Queen for me up at Queensland. She was good. Shane Adair, Air Assault, won by about 3 lengths. There was a bit of a fall in that one, so it was a messy affair in the John Letts. And poor old Don Diego de Vega was left a bit flat-footed versus Let's Deal in the 2,800-metre camel race. A few of those 2,800-metre races will be on a one-way ticket to the Bull, I would have thought, Nico.
Yeah, it sort of looked that way. Yeah, once it landed in front of us, and she was in the box seat and we were chasing her. I knew our fate was probably over. Hopefully, a few went to place there as well. It was well backed. I think it was 9 into 480. So operation somewhat of a success, but the patient died, as DK would say.
Quick one, Melbourne Cup. What's your Melbourne Cup takeaway or comment on the race or the week or anything, Nico? What's your Melbourne Cup takeaway?
Like, it was disappointing we didn't have Sedelius going in, but I think the way it all worked out, the story that comes out with Half Yours, I don't think we really missed him from that narrative point of view. So, yeah, I think everything Race Victoria doing with the race, we had a Buckaroo had EIPH and was sort of pulled up there late, but that was sort of way overblown in the media, wasn't it? So I think as a whole, it's working. These protocols are a little bit frustrating for punters, and there may need to be some changes to the all-in rules for next year, because there's probably a few horses in the race that are no chance of passing the vets, and therefore they're probably no chance of running. So I think maybe that needs to be looked into a little bit for a bit of punter protection, and then that can potentially happen given it's unlike any other race. So that's probably the only thing maybe I'd look at tinkering for next year, but I think as a whole, it worked quite well.
Pat tip to Ladbrokes. They refunded bets for Sir Delius, so that was good. Walt, your Melbourne Cup takeaway?
Why'd you have to say that right when we're about to
the Sir Delius
positive bloke talk about Sir Delius? You talk about the 80 I didn't get back. No, I don't want to weigh into Everest's first Melbourne Cup, but I guess that's what everyone compares, and it just showed this year like it was just up and about, wasn't it? Like it was 5-6 days of complete madness. The angles to the race, Calcutta's just excellent in regard to this race, especially. The 24 horses just opens it up, doesn't it? I love the Everest 12-horse race, but very different beast, and I don't think it can ever be like this, and I just hope it has the same momentum it had this year. You know, it's just the call of the card was great. It didn't get the coverage probably nationally, which would have been ideally. It was probably just in crowd only thing, which is good, but could be better. And everything else was awesome. The exotics, the Melbourne Cup throw, everything it throws up is just great. And the story and everything was awesome too, being an Australian and sort of bred and trained. And yeah, it was good.
Yeah, for me, it was the 300k buy off Inglis. It just goes to show we desperately need to keep the game and cost down so everyone can play. Like, I just think that's the best thing ever. They've found a bargain basement buy for 300, and so many owners have got to share in it. Again, I think Walt hits the nail on the head with the coverage. The coverage on the call the card was a massive miss. Thank God Ladbrokes have picked it up, and there's been lots of talk about the call the card, struggling to sort of get off the ground, but I think the PRAs need to try and find a way to get licensing across all of the states so they can have copycat events of the call the card, because if the betting markets are vibrant, the whole tide rises. So I think the PRAs need to put their heads together to fix the pattern and then to try and figure out how they can get the licensing to get these call the card type events across, like the Stratty, the Winterbottom, all the big events over in SA. Every big state should have this, because punters, as you could see, were just desperate to get on it and want to flock, and they'll bet up if you let them. So big full fields there, and I think it was just diabolical at the moment with Channel 7, Channel 9, not just the camera angles and trying to watch the race, but I'm sort of at the stage where I nearly need 4 TVs, and just the lack of information. I'm sort of scouting around everywhere.
I couldn't work out what channel to put on. I've got it on 24/7. I couldn't work out what channel to put it on to watch the mounting yard until someone told me it was on 9 or something, wasn't it?
Yes, and we are we are blessed in terms of racing.com, how they put the show together, and Thoroughbred Central are late to the party on the jockey interviews after the race, but I'm there scratching around asking Nico, has anyone spoke to the jockeys? How does the track feel? What's going on at Flemington? Because I had no clue on Channel 9. So we just need some consolidation and some clear thinking there, because it's costing lots of turnover. It's crazy, but wow, what an event the Melbourne Cup is, and it's just so global, and Blogsy's just taken it to the world of social media. It's brilliant.
He's been good. They're going to overkill him, unfortunately, aren't they? They're all just trying to get a piece of him now, which is a shame. But, as what it started out was definitely a success, and hopefully going to build off it. I did laugh. There was one thing. There's a dude went the early crow. I've never seen anyone go the early crow on betting. He came out and said, one of the media guys, that our Riffer was the biggest Melbourne Cup plunge he's ever seen. I think it was like $9 into $7 at that stage, and then it's out the gate, and Presage Nocturne started half its price. But yeah, that shows how big a betting race it was, and the moves and the fluctuations. Half yours looked like it was going to start favourite, then Mal Riffer, and then
it goes for
French
multiple
horses.
horses. Yeah, it was great. Nico, it was sort of Vauban Mark II for you with the French horse. You thought he wasn't fit enough.
Yeah, I thought he definitely could have been fitter. He's a big horse, so maybe I got that a little bit wrong, but I thought he could have probably. I think when you come out here and you buy a horse like that, it's never easy, is it? You got to get him at 110%, and he might have not been that on Saturday or Tuesday, and he didn't really probably get the race shape to suit him. I thought he still ran well enough, but it was a big ask, wasn't it, coming out here with 59 kilos? Even the French horse, I thought he probably had a little bit of improvement to come as well. So, yeah, those horses that had the runs and the lead-ins like River of Stars, Half Yours had a faultless prep. Middle Earth had a very good prep to get the miles in his legs for Melbourne Cup. It's still probably the traditional way, still the best way in some cases there.
Hats off to the McAvoy team. I took him on thinking the horse had conk out, but when Nico had him third in the yard and said he's just looking superb, my heart sort of sunk a little bit. And when Jamie took those gaps, that's the car of old. I guess she's a Mellum now, but I don't know where it is, or maybe he was just going so good that he just pulled her through those gaps. And the other thing to her credit, she declared it on Channel 9 in the morning, and then at the call the card, she was bullish as. So, yeah, amazing performance from all or everyone really associated with the horse. What a story!
Can steer. It's the horses she needs to lift. Like, it's the ones that she's
can't paddle late.
Maybe not at her prime at, but she can definitely steer, and that's all that horse needs is put him to sleep and steer him, isn't he? Hope he keeps coming. Hope he keeps improving.
Yeah. Great story. All right, make sure you tune in to the Ladbrokes hosted pot for Champions Day. I think it's about 11 o'clock Melbourne time, so that one's back to the normal time zone there, so it'll be Oh, shit, I think it'd be 10 o'clock Queensland time, so that's good for us.
Normal, but it's not normal.
Poor old Walter had the quick backup graft and chitin yesterday, and he had the running double going for about a third of what or actually double for the pot. So it's plenty of action. If you need a hand to get through the day with our sets, these are great. I've got one today at Oaks Day, and we just keep finding plenty of winners throughout the day, so you can just pick and choose what you follow. It's a cheap way to get a really good set. Brisvegas, our Brisvegas show is back every Friday until Gold Coast Magic Millions Day. So the Brisbane Summer Carnival show is here. So we'll get a bit of GK, a bit of Donny, a bit of the MacBet boys, maybe some Walt cameos if he's not in Japan. So every Friday we'll get all the Queensland races, and I think we'll get the quality legs done tomorrow. And I've only got one to do today. Quick weather look for Saturday. I've got 3 mil Friday and then 10 mil Saturday morning and then 10 more during the meeting on Saturday. So Champions Day could become wet and wild. Nico will need a poncho. I've only got 3 mil Rosehill till Saturday, and then only 2 mil hitting really late in the day at Eagle Farm, if at all. And then I've got a little bit of rain at Adelaide too. So I've got 5 mil Thursday, Friday, but none Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Nico's got a bonus tip for you at Pakenham before he looks at the Group 1s. Walt's got the 5 diamonds and a race later on the card. And Shane Adair, he's still MIA after the Oasis gig, but could be a little bit triggering here and a bit of conflict because he's got MORPHETTVILLE early. He's gone race 2, number 1, and this is Bell Ragazzo. So that's at $3.60. MORPHETTVILLE Parks track 2. So race 2, number 1. So that'll be a leader that he's found. Horse going absolutely enormous. It was good last start, over 900 metres, but there's plenty of speed in this race, so it'll need to find a little bit of extra strength if it's going to hold these challenges out, because it's going to be a tough test at the 1,000 there. And the next race is Rosehill race 4, number 5, and this is Shady Thinker. This is the Adelaide horse now stepping into your backyard up at Rosehill. Walton, we were sort of discussing this race yesterday. Horse I sort of liked the trial of was Tuned. Now it's had the ultimate gear change of a Geld. And the horse you liked was Bartlov.
Yeah, I like Tuned actually. And Bartov is the sort of horse that could come on too. But I said I marked Tuned $6 and Bartov $4.75, Shady Thinker $4.25. So it's getting out Shady Thinker. I think it's definitely got a good chance. Definitely going to get a nice run in the race. Probably I'm going to mark it favourite, so I think it can win for sure. It's just it came up like 240 or something, which was quite aggressive. I don't really like the toppy either, Midnight Dynamite. So yeah, it can win for sure.
All right, without further ado, let's go into Pakenham for Nico's Friday night special, and then we'll start looking at Champions Day at Flemington. Odds courtesy of Ladbrokes, $2.60 triple time is the favourite. That's who he likes. Black Eyed Blonde is $4.80. 4 Candles $5.50. Pereira $6. Kerwinsbridge $9.50. And then you got Unriddled $12. Nico, this one's been sitting in your black book for quite some time. This is last year.
Yeah, long time. He's in the Price Kent colours out the back here. Comes home in the quickest or second fastest last 200 of the day, I think. Quickest of the race, 4-2. It's probably just his work from here, the last 200, where he really starts to motor home. The winner's Just for Show. The second horse is Nimbus 2000. Both won in Metropolitan grade since. This was a $75,000 maiden. Love that last 100 metres from him. He's had 3 jump outs leading into this, and none of them were outstanding, but I think that's probably a reflection of how fit he is going to be into Friday night. Hopefully the rain sort of sticks away, but he did sort of handle in his most recent piece of work on a heavy 9 there at Cranbourne. I just didn't see a whole lot of depth to this race. He looks like he's got good ability. Black Eyed Blonde's had a few chances. 4 Candles is first up for Team Hawks. He didn't set the world on fire in any jump outs or even first up last campaign. Then outside of them, I think the rest are pretty limited. So he looks like a horse with some ability. Saturday is going to be pretty tricky conditions to really get too involved early. So I thought Friday night might be our chance. He was 3:30 last night when I was looking at the race, and he's been hammered in. He's got to as low as 2:35. I think around 2:60 is fair. Any shorter, you'd probably be looking to maybe not get too involved. But around that 2:60 mark, I think is pretty fair for a horse that looks like he's got genuine upside in a field that probably doesn't have any.
October 2024. That's how deep his black book runs.
Back. He goes back.
Hey, I love it.
He doesn't give up on him. He's loyal.
Waiting. But that's a good sign. 3 trials up to the mark, and I'm saying that there's not going to be huge rain around. So Flemington should be able Pakenham should be able to absorb that, and the real dangerous stuff Saturday morning and overnight, I'd say, on Saturday. Let's have a look at the first big race at Flemington. It's race 6. It's the Group 1 VRC Champion Sprint. Tenitrus is $2.80, Jolly Star $3.10, Gigi Kick $5, Tropicus $8.50, Cabalus on the back up $16, and then you've got a couple of the mares there, Magic Time 17, Benedetta 31, and then Flying for Fun, which is interesting. Tenitrus is the first horse that we're going to have a look at, the replay, Coolmore Stud Stakes. Nico, how much is left in the tank from the yard?
A little bit, I think. I think they sort of always had this in mind to back him up and potentially look to win the Weight for Age race, and this was an outstanding win. The ratings have come back huge on this win. Was, a firm track. He runs the quickest last, I think, 1,000 of the meeting, so he probably had the right race shape to do that, but gee, off that, he looks like a high-class animal. Now he goes down to 53.5 kilos. Craig Williams goes aboard. Mark Zara rides Giga Kick here, so that's probably worth taking note of, given the form MZ's in. I did hear on the radio this morning that if it's heavy, they won't run, so just take note of that. Here's Giga Kick first up. The visual sort of suggests he's back to somewhere near his best. The clock didn't necessarily back it up. I think his huge advantage is if it's a heavy track on Saturday or even a soft track. He's a great wet tracker, and that's when all of his best ratings have come. So I think he's probably the most advantaged in the potential conditions. Jolie Star at her absolute best is, right on the podium with them. She was great in the Everest, but I just sort of looked through the race and, I didn't really know where to go. I don't know what you boys made of this run in the Everest.
Well, I thought she did enough here, but I think she had conditions to suit because this is a dry deck. And are you saying Tenitrus is going to get scratched if it's too wet?
Yeah, he'll be out if it's really wet. So there could be a huge chance he's not even there.
Nico, are you saying that Tenitrus could be scratched?
Yeah, that seemed like it was maybe the case. So I think if it's heavy, he'll come out. Maybe they'll roll the dice on a soft track. Gear Kick's probably best suited in those conditions. I sort of went looking at Cabalus. I think he's well set up. He has some good soft track form. He's drawn in the right part of the track in 9, quick backup, coming off, nearly a career peak last start on last Saturday. So I think he's the horse that can potentially overachieve in a race where the conditions are really going to be the main part. And before you got to sort of have a bet, you got to really know what's happening on the day.
Yeah, that's a real curveball. Tenitrus chance to come out, and the rain looks absolutely menacing. Jolie Star loves it up the straight. She went like a bomb. I think we tipped her in the Newmarket, but she didn't really beat much that day. But she's a different commodity on a dry deck versus wheel spin. Once they start to sort of get that soft and then heavy's out of play, and then last man standing could be Giga Kick. What do you reckon, Walt?
No, I think it was dry. Tenitrus wins. So that makes it hard for Jolie Star, doesn't it? I think she's a better horse fresh. She definitely did go well down here. She was so dominant first up, but then you look back, that brow side, I just think it's secondary form, and then she did beat average horses here, so maybe she's the horse got to take a risk with, considering she's $3. Yeah, I think Giga Kick next needs it wet to beat Tenitrus, and and then there's no speed here. Tropicus looks like it's the only leader, absolute full control, but she is stablemate to Tenitrus. So will she roll along, or will she just try and hold them up and outsprint them? I think if she holds them up and outsprints them, it brings in Cabalus, which is the horse Nico found, and probably wet too. Yeah, it's just conditions are very important here. I think if Tenitrus comes out, it completely changes the race because Tropicus's tactics may change too. So, yeah, I'll definitely be probably betting around Jolie Star no matter what at this point is probably the main takeaway. And then, might go looking for value if it is wet.
Can she miss a place?
Jolie Star?
Yeah.
Well, 2 to 1. I'd be happy to layer the win. Yeah, old Uncle Chris is too good. He's too good at peaking them.
Flemington Race 7 is the Group 1 Lexus Champions Mile. Odds courtesy of Ladbrokes, $4.20 Pride of Jenny, Mr. Brightside $4.60, Cho Wolf $5.50, Treasure of the Moment $5.50, Like a Lucy $8.50, Steffi $9, Lake Forest $14, New Rider, and then you got Pericles $15. Let's have a look at the King Charles when we've got Mr. B, Pericles, Cho Wolf, Lake Forest. This is a dry deck and it's going to be a wet deck. And I look at this race and I think to myself, who are the mutters? And Mr. Brightside's a complete mutter. And Pericles, he's a mutter as well. Loves the mutter. And then Cho Wolf, blinkers on, had the NOS. Just turbo overdrive, our favourite trainer, Joe Bright.
Do they work the second time?
I'm not sure. Let's have a look at Pride of Jenny, who also had the NOS, the Chamber of Secrets NOS. And this is her just nossing out in front. And then my little horse, Like a Lucy, decides to chase. Nothing else wanted to cart up. It's been the spring of not wanting to cart up. We had Land Legend the other day. We've had Gilded Water.
They did go 100 mile an hour in the Melbourne Cup. They did go 100 mile an hour in this race.
That's crazy, isn't it? Anyway, I don't.
Who wants to cart up?
Well, no one wants to cart up, and that's the problem. Or maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. Treasure the moment in Cox Plate. I'm surprised she's still with us and still alive. Is she still with us from a condition perspective, Nico?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just back in Matt Laurie. Got it right on this day. She's run, pretty much nearly to her best on that occasion. She had some things in favour with the track, but coming back to a mile, like she may be a miler. She was so dynamic first up at 1,400 metres. There's not a lot between these horses. There's no, Via Sistina who can get to that real just at another level like we saw in the Cox Plate last year and the Queen Elizabeth and a few other ratings. These are pretty even. So I think if you're going to go deep into the ratings, Wolf's actually probably the best horse, but he needs the right setup. He needs Jenny in his races. He does get that here. If people can replicate what he did last start, he'll be pretty hard to beat. Treasure of the Moment can match that. Mr. Brightside's going to need it very wet to get right back to that level, but he's going to get that scenario here. And Jenny gets what she got in this race, I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, where she won, and a big southwesterly breeze, which really helped her and helps the leaders there on Saturday. So I think it's a race you can really sort of go looking for whichever one. I think the horse that's best suited on the track and the potential fast run race is Wolf. I was surprised he wasn't a little bit shorter. He was great first up on a heavy 10 behind Aliana and Via Sistina. He's run second in an Australian Derby on a heavy 8. So he'll have no problems if it's wet, and you'll have no problems if Jenny really rips him along here. So I thought he was the one that's a little bit bomb-proof, and if everything, he's a bit like Jimmy Star. Under the right scenario, he's probably the best horse, and you might get it again there on Saturday.
Yeah, wow, that's a pretty big matzo ball. And Treasure of the Moment's another mudder. So this is sort of a muddathon, and then Nico's just sort of mic drop bang, Cho was the best horse, Cho and Joe, and you're in shock. You right? You with me, mate? We love Joe Pride. But you know what?
Wolf's the best horse.
Well, I think Joe hasn't taken a big enough risk and not put him in the 2000 in the Champion Stakes. Like,
I think Nico's fallen off his bed, hit his head.
Off the ratings, if you're sort of going off that, he is. So that's.
What about Pride of Jenny?
Yeah, she can sort of match that level he gets to, but if of his 2 King Charles wins, if he rocks up in that form, he'll be very, very hard to beat. He just can mix his form a bit, but he gets the right scenario again to do it. So, yeah, from that point of view, he is the best horse under the right scenario.
Imagine if Jenny got a set of Joe's blinkers. She'd lead by 37 and win by 42.
Yeah. He's bred to get it too, Joe Wolf. He's a mudder.
Joe Wolf, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought being going to be the full Debbie Downer here, this race impossible. 2023 since she's won 2 in a row, and I will stab myself in the leg on principle if I bet in this race, apart from the quaddie disclaimer. Mr. Brightside likely to work the hardest, trying to get across from that gate. Joe Wolf, first time Melbourne. Magic blinkers, do they work second time? How big a start does he give? Steffi, strong mile. She's dangerous from the inside draw, especially if it doesn't rain, I think. But a mile's probably as far as she wants. Treasure the Moment, perfect run, but is she still alive? And Like a Lucy couldn't have got a better run than it did last start. Maybe, wet would help her too, but I couldn't. It was too. I just want Lake Forest to rip down the outside, honestly. I just want to see it just absolutely chime in like they're all standing still and put 6 on them and just watch Maureen go absolutely berserk. That would be the best thing that could happen.
Maureen will be doing these Mr. Bean ones.
That would be the highlight for me, and I will build a statue for Nico if J Wolf comes out and gaps these as the world's best horse. I'm still in. Oh, that's done, mate.
He's nearly convinced me, Nico.
I was nearly getting my keys to go to the tab. Swear to God, at the back of his speech. Oh, well, he nearly had me, and then
I'm just stating the facts. It's not necessarily my opinion, but the facts sort of back that up.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Nico! I think I like the realm of thinking because it's going to be a high pressure 1600. They won't let her get away with murder. This is back to the A grade. We saw what happened in the B grade. She got bullied. It was the Benascari theory. But now this is going to be more like a 2,000 metre race. And I think Joe should be racing Cho in more of a 2,000 event. So maybe it'll pan out like that, and maybe he's the winner.
Yeah, I think Nico's. I agree with what he says about that. It's just weird with her. Nothing ever really comes from back. They've got to make up so much ground on her that it's very hard. But that's only is she alive Jenny, not is she every second start Cactus Jenny. So if she's Cactus Jenny, he might not be as far away. They'll still run along a little bit and different race.
Cho Wolf, treasure of the moment, 2 bets, and Nico's all over Cho Wolf. Hopefully it's still live treasure of the moment, but great to see it back to 1,600 and might be a 1,400 metre. We'll see. Great race.
Need a spell.
Race 8, the Group 1 Champion Stakes, 2,000 metres. Number 10, Vestina favourite, $1.70. Tom Kitten, $9.50. Light Infantry Man, $10. Pier 12, Attrition 14, Kovalica 16. Here's the Cox Plate replay via Sistina, Attrition, Light Infantry Man. We've just seen it. Nico, Wallace says that she's ready to peak now.
I could agree with that because she seemed, she's come through the Solly Run races early in her campaign. The Turnbull, she needed that run. Saturday was sort of just that run. Well, yeah, this race, we saw her somewhere, sort of close to that level she can get to, but nowhere near her best. I think looking at her ratings, she could probably definitely elevate off this. Buckaroo, I don't think him going poorly in the Melbourne Cup is any sort of form reference on that. He was probably best suited under the conditions. There's no way it was a soft 5 come that race. It had been raining for 2 hours there at Moonee Valley, and look how chopped up it was on the corner. I think she's come out of the Cox Plate last year off a huge number and then went again here. So I think she can do similar. She can definitely hold her form. I think she only has to hold that to win. Like what's the challenger here? I think the wet track probably hurts other horses' chances more than hers. She seems to handle it quite well these days, and I think a few others in this race probably would need it drier to really be a factor. So I was surprised she wasn't shorter. She's $1.70 right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if she starts a lot shorter. It's probably just a case of her recent ratings aren't as strong as sort of this time last year, but she only has to hold what she did last start to be winning, and that would suggest to my she's a lot better winning chance at $1.70 here.
I had Sedelius as the biggest danger here. Well,
yeah, I just got no interest. $1.70 is just going to be. Where's he going to be in the run? I don't know. I know it probably doesn't matter, but yeah, they're all just whackers and nothing going much good, and just an absolute non-event for me.
Tom,
Where do you go? What do you do? There's just nothing can win.
No.
And she's going like a busted, and she just won the Cox Plate. So I guess she probably win.
Zambardo.
I was thinking at Chris, she said her eyes look good now. She looks like her eyes have come good. So that means maybe when the eyes are good, maybe that's Cox Plate good. Maybe she'll just win by, I'd love to see her win by 15 and just put a new special rating on the board, very elegant style, and then just sign her off straight to stud.
Yeah, not sure how we can make money on this race outside of just going all in or just lumping a last leg of a multi, box exactors with like Attrition, Tom Kitten maybe. Ugh.
She fought off Buckaroo. I tell you, that form's held up well.
Yeah, I think Chris wanted to take her to this race, but the owners are desperate to race Buckaroo in the Cup. So it's the owner error, isn't it, Nico?
Did seem that way, and it sort of backfired again for him there. So yeah, he never sounded all that confident in the media, and sort of was never saying throughout the whole prep that Melbourne Cup was the aim. So yeah, maybe it sort of backfired a little bit there. And if he was here, he'd be a really interesting runner off that Cox Plate. But I think the bottom line is she just faces no opposition. Like if Tom Kitten's going to come out and beat her, well, we're probably we're in an interesting spot for her next campaign, and I just don't see that happening, to be honest. So I think she'll win.
I do see Tom Kitten has form behind the world's best horse last start. They were only beaten sort of 2.5. That's probably good enough to take care of Isostina, is it?
Yeah, well, I said at a mile. At a mile, with Chaya Wolf, it'd be a little bit different at 2,000. I think his sweet spot is that mile, to be honest. So, but going back in time a little bit, and he sort of had a weird prep, Tom Kitten, where he missed the Memsey, where he got scratched at the barriers, Mackay Diva Solly run, then he went into Brutal Run Fian. Last start was Signs of Life, but he's got to improve a long way to beat her. So, yeah, he's got the right setup to probably do it now, coming out of the Jenny races. They do sort of stand you in good stead for your next run. I watched that replay like 10 times, Tom Kitten, trying to see him do something more than what he actually did. Trying to watch him just hit the line a little bit more than you can beat it, and he just didn't do it. So, yeah, I think we're all in the same boat that it's just a bit of it by default, right?
Yeah. All right, Nico's Yard. Get around it on Twitter, Patreon, so it comes through via Telegram or into your email. It's a really good service. Nico will be in the Little Birdie poncho, so look for the black and white and gold poncho. You'll be out in the rain. You'll just be sitting at home with the prawns, eating a prawn roll or doing whatever. So 3 to 5 minutes before the jump, you'll get all the info from Nico. So make sure you do that because the couple of these races on Saturday look tricky, and the last word always helps your decision making. Let's go north now to Rosehill. Less weather around there. 5 Diamonds is the first race we're going to have a look at. Walt, Transatlantic $2.90, Rise at Dawn $5. Wow, it's short. Bullet Point $7, Militarized $8, Vivi Air $8, and you got Firestorm on the quick backup. Unlike Uncle Chris, $12, and you got $16, and then you got Shadizi, which was ridden upside down last time behind Transatlantic, and that's a replay we're going to start with. It's Transatlantic in the red with the yellow cap. You got Shadizi just on his hammer in the Aussie Kahir with the white cap. The Inflictor for Craig Cousins, just collecting prize money in the red with the black and white stripes.
Mikhail back on the inside.
Yeah, Mikhail back on the inside. You got Fuku Bana in the turquoise. He's lost. He should be up in Queensland, but he's gone to a new level, but needs to again Transatlantic to run 1800.
Yeah, and he was obviously very good in the 2-rack or whatever he won, and then he came back there and just had full control. Like the race was over 800 metres out, the way that they sort of allowed him to relax outside leader.
This is Militarized chasing home the potential, Cox Plate winner, which was Lindemann, but Lindemann decided not to go. And Militarized is back, third the fence in the China Horse Club, colours, red with the yellow.
And yeah, Lindemann busted him up a bit here and actually did a bit of protogeny, sort of set a lot stronger tempo than he had his previous few starts, and that gap was a little bit too much for the back markers to sort of bridge back because he didn't stop. He ran very, very fast time, and as you can sort of see, Militarized is just doing its thing. It hasn't won for a long time and has put in a lot of performances like this, and that's probably the only little query. But
and this is just on the inside pink. The horse was sort of held up a little bit. And this is over in England, and this is 2 starts back Bullet Point. And once he sort of gets clear air, just down on the inside there, he actually sort of surges to the line.
He just sort of doesn't ever look like he quickens, but he just keeps doing it.
Surger.
And he's put in a lot of similar performance like this. The only failure he's ever really had was last start when they backed up 2 days later off a really good performance. And then he's 77 days or something since that. So yeah, he's never been to 1,800 metres, but you're like watching that sort of replay, it doesn't look like he's going to stop. Does he sort of going to get a head of steam up and just keep coming? He hasn't been in top grade, but he certainly looks very dangerous in a race like this that is devoid of strong horses. And I just thought the betting was wrong. That was what interested me most about the race. Transatlantic's obviously a decent starting point, but draws outside, goes to 1,800 metres. There is speed inside. Rise of Dawn's kicks up from 1. Bullet Point obviously kicks up. Lou is led the, whatever that rope, it backs up. I'm really keen for it to back up Lou. What was that race the other? Big Dance, Barn Dance, to put your hand in, put your hand out. Was it the Chicken Dance? And ran okay there. So hopefully it backs up, puts a bit of pressure on. Inflictor obviously kicks up from middle draw, and then Transatlantic's out there in the boondocks. You'd think it's going to have to work. So I just think 280 is just very short. I think Rise at Dawn $5 is very short. It's led and controlled its last 2 starts and now has to go out in distance in a race with more pressure from an inside draw. Bullet Point's the unknown, can run well, and I just think Militarized is insanely well priced. I agree. I think that Cox Plate, we joked the Cox Plate was no good, but I think Lindemann would have been in the field. I think it probably would have won. Observer, other horses may have gone there as well and run well, but I think Lindemann would have run very well. And this horse, whilst it hasn't won for a long time, has had many excuses, and this is D-Day. If it was Ramwick, I'd be super keen, but I think there's enough pressure and there's just not strength, so it just needs even luck, a 3-wide toe up, and I can't see anything being stronger than Militarized late here, and whatever it is, $8 it seems a great price. You mentioned Shadizi was ridden too close. I think that's important. Interesting horse, and the reason why it's important is because it's $34 or whatever it is here. That seems a silly price as a knockout, but very keen on backing Militarized here and probably having Bullet Point go around a winner just because it could be too strong for them.
Any extra rain would suit Militarized and Bullet Point, I'd say. Nico, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Transatlantic 1,800 is the query. I'm not sure Rise at Dawn's at his absolute best this campaign either, so it opens up the race. Then you got Kieran Fowler and Joe Maria on the next two. So the international jockeys haven't sort of covered themselves in glory this spring, have they? So that's probably some query around Rosehill. You'd much rather at Randwick for them. Firestorm's probably well set up to do something here, chasing Jenny last start and sort of had none in a few of her races. I think she can run well. Shadizia I could see improving, ridden a bit colder, but I sort of kept coming back to Bullet Point. It was a bit reluctantly, but he'll need a bit of luck. I would have loved if he trialled a bit better, but I'm probably happy to overlook that a little bit. I think he's probably just the horse who's going to get the right run, and if he sort of runs up to his UK ratings, he's thereabouts, and if he improves a little bit, well, he's probably hard to beat. So I thought $7. That may get me, but I would have loved a local rider on.
I marked Firestorm $9 too. I just completely forgot to mention it. Agree. 1800, well set up. It was sort of third pick, Firestorm.
Keeping that one up your sleeve, mate.
No, just blind.
I think it's just insanity that you got Transatlantic, Query 1800, $2.80. Oh, 270, 260, whatever. Rise of Dawn, $5. Agree with Nico. Big query distance and going like an absolute busted. I'm going better than it. And then Vivier, $9. How can you have three horses that don't love 1800 metres just so short? Like, you have to bet into this race. Don't worry about what's happening at Flemington. We've been wishy-washy for those first three group races, but you need to bet into this race, and you just need to bet in with gusto. And
It does. It feels good now that you can do your art. Like, it feels like you could bet into this race, do your ass, and walk away happy, which is definitely it's definitely the pointer of betting into the right race. Like someone's.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you want $3 at Transatlantic? You'd laugh at him. I don't know what price it'd have to get to before you'd say, oh, yes, okay. Like, and even if it did, you'd save on it maybe. I don't know. And agree, rise at dawn.
I'd probably need $6 or $7 I haven't done the race as deep as you have, but I'd probably need 6 or 7 Transatlantic.
I think that's fair. I think, I marked at 550, being very lenient to it sort of first time around, and still had Military shorter than it. So, yep. Agree.
Yep, love that. Bet and bet hard for that one. Rosehill race 10 is the next one. It's the Rosehill Bowling Club, benchmark 78 over 1400. I'm surprised that the races are still here at Rosehill. They should be at Randwick this meeting, but that's a problem for New South Wales.
I'm surprised they're not running the Randwick Cup this week just to complement the Rosehill Cup at Randwick last week.
Frosty Girl, Barrier 1, $2.20, formal display $8, Marjud $8.50, Band of Brothers $12, Yes Lulu $13, High Blue C $15, Frontex $15, Sergeant Major $16, Jewel nominated up in Brisbane, looks suited up in Brisbane. I think it's about a $4.20 chance, so not sure to be running at Rosehill, but we shall see. Marjud is the first replay we're going to have a look at here, and it's in the red My Racehorse colours, and just on the inside in an awkward spot.
Yeah, and just got very keen the whole way. Is that Magnetier in front who's come out and won since, I think? Vivier, is that Vivier outside leaders run very well since. The Falcon, who's probably, number 2 best horse in the world behind Chaelwolf, runs second there.
Yeah.
And, that form's at least as strong. It's significantly stronger than this benchmark 78.
Frosty Girls here in the Firestorm colours with the red and the yellow and the blue sleeves.
Interesting, isn't it? Sort of trying to go from that sort of hot level race to a 4-horse race on a Wednesday, but this horse is unbeaten and hasn't had favours in every start. Just looks a real push-button line finder, but does draw one here with the Mighty Magic Man aboard, and there is sort of speed outside her. So she could get buried back the inside, but she has a really nice sustained turn of foot that will take her to probably better races than this 100%. We're just where she gets to in the run. That's all we're watching there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so more Jude, I think the big ticks for me are massive. It's got a stronger rider than it's had the last 2 starts. Let's just put it that way. And back to from a mile to 1400 in a race that does look to have good tempo. They're both very, big positives for this horse. It was sort of $12 this morning, so I see it's into 8. That's a little bit of a downer on the price. I thought it was sort of a 1x2 really nice play, sort of 1 to win to a place. It looked a really good option, should run very well, and maybe it's coming into sort of territory where you got to back at the win and maybe chop out on Frosty Girl. Frontex is the other horse that I thought was interesting, a bit of a late inclusion that I didn't tell Nick about, but I just sort of watched it again, thought it was set a task last time, will run a strong 1400. He's drawn awkwardly again, but just around the $14 mark. I wouldn't be letting it go around a loser because there's just not much strength to this race. There's quite a bit of tempo, and I think Morjude's definitely best value. Frosty Girl's probably the best horse. Obviously, $2.20 is just a little bit tight, and Frontex is good value. So I think it's not as good a betting race as the race we just looked at. What was that? The 17 Diamonds or the, I don't know.
5 Diamonds.
The 5 Diamonds, whatever.
Means something to
It's not
someone.
quite as exciting a race there, but just Morjude just looked, really well set up horse to run well, and Bjorn in the last.
Yeah, it's an easy strategy to capitalise on Bjorn in the last. Frosty Girl's been in my black book, and I'm no genius for finding it. She's just a line finder, and you see Waller with these horses. Panova jumps it up to the Carbine Club, so he's great with putting horses well out of their class and getting good results. So I'm not worried about that. Have you got any opinion on any of these, Nico?
If you're happy to back Maruya from Barrier 1 at 2:30, you're a braver man than I. That's probably my thoughts on the last race there in Sydney. I liked the 2-year-old race, actually. I thought that was intriguing with the Marf debutant and then the Derby racing runner of Vengeance, is it? I thought he could probably be winning that, the Golden Gift, but they'll probably see me out. I got to head out to HQ and get my spot for Flemington today. It's going to be good weather out there, so keen to get out there.
I just want to know if you were conflicted when the Marrera came ripping down the middle on Burma Star in the blue colours then the other day. That must have been a bit of a heartburner.
Yeah, I was on Ripley, unfortunately. So, you got the best of me there, Jow. But, as I said, you're braver than me if you can take 2:30 from 1 with him.
Thanks, Nico. Good luck and go get him out there. I just love that little drive-by shooting from Nico as he just leaves the premises.
He's dropping his pink blue cap up and picking up the old Chaelwolf cap on the way to headquarters.
Oh, I love it. Just pump action shotgun outside the car because Land Legend probably ruined the race for him in the Melbourne Cup, so he's got the shits.
Yeah.
Hey?
I don't know.
Who knows? I love it. New little jockey vendetta. We're partial to those.
I just don't understand how anyone thinks he murdered Land Legend. If anyone who thinks he's murdered Land Legend hasn't seen Land Legend for about the last 2 years, who's been murdering us. He's got more quirks than me.
When he zipped out to the front, I think I said this in your Discord chat the other day. My old man was watching it beside me and he said, "What's this horse going to do?" I said, "I don't know, mate." I said, "This horse might keep going."
I was happy to be on it.
No, I was too.
Yeah,
I didn't have much on, but I took hundreds and I'm like, thank God. It would have ended me, I reckon. I would have given up.
Exactly. And then I had my pants off at about the 600. Literally, I forgot that I was upstairs and I had the pants off in front of the windows there out to the street when Half Yours started taking gaps. But it was an interesting race.
Too good. All right. Racingwatch.com.au is the Discord channel that I speak of. So head to the website, jump in the chat room, and you'll turn crazy just like Walt and myself. So if you need company, we're in there.
There's the upside.
You get crazy like us. Okay, Eagle Farm. I'm going to go quickly because we've got the Brisvegas show tomorrow. So we'll go deeper tomorrow and we'll do the quad legs and some other best bets. I'm just not sure what they are. Eagle Farm Race 6. It's the Kia Aura Stud Handicap Benchmark 80, 1,800 metres. Cavalryman's $4. Victory Fame $5. Ludovisi $7.50. Naval Seal $8. Canberra Legend $8. Manaheim $8.50. Sun Worshipper $9.50. Wild Chap $16. And much better the rest. The horse I like here is Sun Worshipper. It's in the blue with the white V, and it's sort of stuck in behind them. And Marses wins the race, and it's in the maroon and white. And this horse just sort of lays in. And the reason I like this horse is a couple of things. They're adding the offside bubble cheeker. So that's like a little round disc with spikes on it. And they're going to place that on the right side of the horse and it'll prick it softly in case it wants to lay in there. And the other reason is that Luke Dempsey's off. So I'm hoping new rider, bubble cheeker, this horse can run straight and just show its acceleration. And I took $15 about Sun Worshipper yesterday thinking, wow, this looks a really even race and this is over the odds. It's got DK's old bloody best mate on it, Mark Duplessis, 2+3. That's scary, but it's probably a positive with Dempsey off. So I think it's a great each way bet, and the market's agreeing. It's now into $9.50. I went deeper into the race and thought Naval Seal was a danger at $9. I've spoken to GK about this race. He sort of gives Spaycaster a rough chance at $26. You can find a horse like Canberra Legend, but a lot of these horses, and maybe Ludovisi if you want to have a first four, but lots of these horses like Cavalryman, Victory Flame, they've been up a long time. They're so cramped in the odds. And I think this horse has just got a little bit more upside. Was pretty good in the Winter Carnival, this Sun Worshipper. And it just has something there. And I think it's ready to win. And Matt Crop on the back up here. Looks like he's got one ready to sort of explode. And if it runs straight, it's probably the winner there. So that's my my best value play at Eagle Farm. And we'll do the rest of the races tomorrow. You know a fair few of these beaten up camels here, Walt?
I do, and I just hope that you found the right one, because even when you were going like Walla, Walla, X Walla, X Walla, Walla, X Walla, and then at least you found one from left field, because they're that take turns, Walla horses, these ones. Mannerheim's not a bad horse on his day, but he's not a gate one horse, so I'll be cheering for yours.
Age of Sale, Wild Chap's got the Age of Sale form, but it's a 9-year-old, so this is what we're dealing with. Puntingform.com.au is how I do the form, so make sure you give those guys a whirl. Make sure you check out the Brisvegas show. Littlebirdie.tv is where we have the summary of our tips. There's some stuff there for Oaks Day. There's going to be some stuff there for Champions Day. Walt Racing Watch, Nico Yard, Cup Week. We're 2 days in. We're going crazy. 2 more days. How good is it? Love it.
Yeah,
I need sleep.
It's going to be a bit depressing at the end of the week, but I might sleep a little bit better.
Yeah, a couple of beers, jump in the pool. But we'll get to that. Make sure you jump into the hosted pots at Ladbrokes for Oaks Day. You got Saturday. Walt gets the lucky door prize Sunday, so he'll be wrapped.
It's got to be better than 2 meetings yesterday and kiting a heavy 10 and oh my God. Anyway.
We'll keep punching. Make sure you gamble responsibly, and we'll see you soon.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.